And amendment will add $275 million from the rainy day fund to get to a $1.2 billion amount that was needed for roads in 2016. 841 days ago, the governor signed the bill that we said would fix our crumbling infrastructure. I believe strongly that our citizens are tired of paying more and getting less for their government, that they are constantly driving on roads that are crumbling. We have pieces of concrete that is falling off of bridges. I think it would be hard to argue at this point that it's not raining and that this investment will save us money in the long run. See, every year when we don't invest, the roads get worse. And so the problem gets bigger and more expensive to solve. And in the future, the cost of goods and services and employment to fix them will be more. So we are actually, by underfunding the roads, by not using the taxpayers' money wisely in this regard, by charging them a tax and still not solving the problem, and by the way, having them have to pay for the bent wheel rim, the chipped window, we are failing those citizens. Now, I know that what I'm going to hear is that we cannot fit the money into this construction season, or that there'll be some sort of inflationary problem in terms of roads, because we've had this discussion before. And I have three responses for that. First, I would say ask everyone to go back and talk to their cities and counties, because I certainly believe that they could find more in their budget to fix and could find the road crews to do it. I know my mayor in Lansing could. I talked to him on the phone yesterday about this exact specific issue. They certainly could find a way to spend that money. Second, if the case is there that we could not spend this money, that we could not find the projects to fund, then there's no harm done. The money would revert back at the end, at least the state portion, would revert back to the general fund at the end of the year, and we would actually be able to have that money to invest again next year. There's no harm done by earmarking it for roads now if we can find those to do the work. And in terms of the inflationary cost, Michigan does not set the cost of all goods and services. We're talking about a 50-state program around the country where there are materials for goods, the labor, and all those things are set. The idea that by adding a small amount of money, $275 million, would dramatically increase the inflationary cost of fixing roads in this state or this country is ridiculous. So what I would say to all of you is, your constituents are sick and tired of this. They are tired of paying more and getting less. We could solve this problem, or at least take a big step into solving this problem, and for a relatively small amount of money out of the rainy day fund. So I'm asking you to support what we said we needed in 2016. Unless we're going to build a time machine, this is the best plan I got, and I'm asking you to support my amendment.
Thank you, Senator Hertel. This is a problem that's been 20 years in the making, so it's not going to be fixed overnight. And I just want to remind this body of the investment that the legislature has made and the taxpayers of Michigan have made to infrastructure, into transportation. So in the current fiscal year, we'll already have an additional $600 million of new revenue, in addition to the $175 we're considering today. In next year's budget, which starts October 1, there'll be another $750 million. So all told, about $1.5 billion of new money than just we had in the system 2 years ago to invest in roads and bridges. And I think we want to make sure that our local partners and our counties and our cities are able to do the work, and we're getting good results of the investment that's being made. So I can't support your amendment today. And I also will remind members, I know I can tell when you're serious about an amendment if you come and talk to me about it beforehand. I never heard boo about this amendment until I got here in this committee today. And if you were serious about it, we spent a lot of time in this Capitol building together, Senator Hertel. If you want to work serious about adding additional money into some of these efforts, let's work together on it. Appreciate that. Senator Shirkey has a question.
Not a question, sir, just sharing comments here. I'm going to vote for this, not for the amendment, but for the supplemental. despite my strong objection to the way some of these monies are being allocated. And I just hope it's instructive for us going forward to ask more questions before it gets to this level. But I just want to also point out that anybody who may consider voting yes for the amendment ought to also be perfectly aware of whether they voted affirmative for the increase in spending for roads in the first place. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Shirkey. Senator Prose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. I will follow my chair in his lead on this one. I think Senator Hertel, though, brings up a point that we need to consider in the budget negotiations and the budget process going forward. I think that in fact, it is raining. I don't disagree with him in the least. I, however, know that there are many different hands that are in the pot that's before us right now. So I'm going to continue to support you. I will not be supporting an amendment this time, but I sure hope that this is a part of the discussion in the ongoing budget process that we have going forward. The Rainy Day Fund could assist in infusion of capital. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Prose. Senator Hertel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate that we always work together, and if you want to sit down before we get a vote on the floor, I'd be more than happy to do that. I don't think anyone talked to our side of the aisle when they actually developed the supplemental, but I'm still going to vote for it because I think it's the right thing to do. And at the end of the day, I think I'm going to do what's right for the people of Michigan. To my colleague on the passage of the original bill, the reason I voted no is because I knew we were going to end up in the exact same place, that we would be taxing the citizens more and we still wouldn't get to a solution. So I was more than happy to vote for an actual, but we predicted the future. This is what's going on over and over again. We keep saying it's not enough money, and we keep needing to put more in the middle of it. Right now, what's happening is the citizens are paying more, and they're getting less. Every time they drive on the roads, they know it, they feel it, they're the ones paying the increased cost. All I'm suggesting is that if we put a little more money in right now, we could save ourselves a long-term cost. The ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I will hope you support my amendment.
Senator Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Listen, we could go back and forth all day blaming why somebody didn't vote this way or why somebody didn't vote that way or why somebody didn't do this or do that. The bottom line is this is not a debate society. This is the Appropriations Committee. We have an obligation and a responsibility to solve these problems. Let's work together, come up with solutions, put something on the table, and solve it. I think that's what Senator Hertel is trying to say at the end of the day. And let me say, let me apologize for not talking to you or not, respecting. We never want to disrespect you, Mr. Chairman. That's never our intention. And, sometimes people get excited. I know I get excited to introduce stuff and forget to talk to people or forget to go through all the channels because I want to get something done. So it's not intentional. But bottom line, we have got to work together to get this done. You got people who are running into potholes, who are blowing out their tires. People's lives are at risk here because the roads are so bad. And so let's just put aside partisan differences and come together for the greater good of fixing our roads. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Young. Is there a motion to adopt the Hertel amendment? Moved by Senator Hertel. Is there support? Support by Senator Gregory. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Chairman Hildebrand.
No.
Senator McGregor. No. Senator Prose. Senator Shoemaker. No. Senator Boer. No. Senator Green. Senator Hansen. Senator Knopf. Senator Marlowe. No. Senator Stamas. No. Senator Shirkey. Senator Nolenberg. Senator Gregory. Yes. Senator Hopgood. Senator Hertel. Yes. Senator Knisik. And Senator Young.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 6 yeas and 10 nays. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you. Amendment is not adopted.